Hi, I'm Reid Johnson, running for state representative in 45B, which includes Robbinsdale, Golden Valley, Crystal, and New Hope. I'm running because I'm tired of the misappropriation of funding and additional programs that our state has put on the people of this Minnesota. It could be from mandates from the school areas to corporate tax rate, which is the third highest in the country, to additional red tape that small businesses have to go through to be able to start their businesses and also maintain their businesses without going out of business. And so the need to have legislators at the Capitol in which can toe the line, make the tough decisions that will effectively reduce the spending, effectively reduce those ineffective programs or programs that have run amok over years and years of neglect with poor oversight. Those are some of the things I'd like to tackle if I'm so elected. In some of the areas, in addition to that, would be single issue legislation, which currently we have, think of it like when you have a bill that goes to the floor, a lot of times there are multiple bills or multiple issues inside that bill. They call it an omnibus bill or pork. And so if the bill itself goes to the floor and you got a legislator that feels that they cannot get theirs to pass on its own, they will throw it under someone else's bill in hopes that it can get passed that way. Well, the problem is different legislators are basically buying their votes in. So they say, I will vote for yours if you will allow me to put my bill into yours. And so now you got a lot of bills and different legislation or tax increases in different areas that don't need it or shouldn't pass on their own because they cannot stand on their own. And so instead of allowing these things to pass through, which is going to affect the whole state, let each bill individually stand on its own. And if it can be a legitimate bill and you get enough votes from both parties, then that should pass. I don't care which person brings it up, whether it's a Democrat, Republican, Independent. We need to start voting on bills that are strong and that's most effective and have the best benefit for all in the state of Minnesota, not just for a few. And so those are some of the things in terms of budgeting or money and programs that we spend money on that we as a legislature need to get better wraps on. Also, some of the other areas would be, you got corporate tax rate and regulations. I mean, there are many situations in which friends of mine who own businesses, I used to own a business, and you have continual government red tape that you have to go through over and over to continually to run your business. And you're wasting time running here and there to take care of those. You might have hire administrators just to take care of the paperwork that the government is pushing on our small businesses or even the larger businesses as well. I was in the construction remodeling business, and if you were going to paint in the city of Minneapolis, they're going to require you to pull a permit every time you wanted to paint something. Well, obviously that'd be an extreme waste of time for a small business because two things are happening. One, you have to run down to pull the permit, so you're wasting time, gas, and employees' salaries or yourself to do that, and then you got to pay for that, and then you either got to take that expense on yourself or you pass it on to the homeowner or businesses that are going to do it. And if the fees are too large, you're going to lose some businesses because people are not going to want to spend that much more to get painting done, for example. So those are some of the simple little things that we need to look at that can affect how businesses run and if they want to stay in the state of Minnesota. You got a lot of states around us and other countries that have very little or no bureaucracy or red tape or things that really inhibit the businesses to grow without a lot of outside interventions from the government. I think we need to cut that way back. Obviously, with the high corporate tax rate of almost 10%, third highest in the country, that also inhibits businesses to staying here or wanting to increase because they're either going to make less money here or they are actually going to raise the product, the cost onto the consumer. So if they have a 10% corporate tax rate, they're going to actually maybe add another 10% onto that product they're selling. Now those who are struggling to make ends meet, that extra 10% and everything else is also more difficulty for them to maintain a standard of living. So whether they leave because people can't survive and maintain the quality of life they need to in Minnesota and have to go to other states that don't have corporate tax rate, or the businesses themselves to do that, those are some of the areas that are really affecting growth and prosperity in Minnesota. Another area is when we're trying to promote or increase new businesses and new growth in businesses, what happens a lot is you have all these different hoops you got to jump through and maybe even years of waiting on a list to be qualified to start a business. and they don't always allow certain businesses to grow. If they feel it's going to inhibit certain areas, whether it's legit reasoning or not, they will put a stop to it. And like up north, there's a lot of different companies basically in the utilities industry, coal and gas and everything else, and nuclear, all these different areas that businesses don't have much growth in because we cannot either start new factories or mining or anything else because certain people in government feel that they don't want to have that in our state. Environmentalists, a lot of times they state certain reasoning why we can't have these certain companies out there trying to make a business that reduces costs in the utility industry or reduces cost for another product. They don't even have to have good reasoning for it, but they think it is, and they convince the legislator that they should not have this industry in Minnesota or the growth of that industry, so they shut it down at the state level. And so those are some of the things we got to look at. Is it really affecting our state? Is it a myth, or is it real that this is hurting our natural resources? A lot of times it isn't, yet they say it is.